All right, so this little cutie pie is a 2-month-old gosling that has a slipped tendon. She did have surgery to have that tendon reattached and is in the healing phases now. Her stitches have been out so she can start bathing. We're going to be treating her a couple of different ways. So she does get her meloxicam for anti-inflammation and pain management. She also gets water therapy, so we do at least 20-minute baths every single day, more frequently if she's willing. And then the other important thing that we do is we use a sling. So slings are super helpful because it's kind of the same concept as the water therapy without having to be wet all the time. It supports their body weight and they can stretch their legs out underneath them. So this one's a little bit messy because she's been using it. We've had to make some adjustments, so I'm kind of making a template for this muslin. But the important components about having a sling is you want to make it tall enough, or at least where the fabric is, so that they can just touch the ground and can support their weight, but not enough that they can launch themselves back out, because she is very good at getting out. So this one we built specifically for her. In a pinch, you can use a box or a tub. And then again, I would recommend like a muslin fabric. It's super inexpensive. You can get a ton of it and it doesn't stretch. So that's usually the biggest problem with the fabric, is that you just want something that's not going to give. Again, because it's, and you have to build it for birds. So this has kind of been a work in progress. I originally marked legs, but I had them too far forward, so I created 2 new leg holes. I just made little X's, and then the fabric's just kind of worn into a hole while she's been in it. You don't want to make the holes too big because they can get their legs back out fairly easily. So make sure that it's just enough that you can slip their legs through, and it makes it a little more work for them to get out. Originally, I had kind of just slit the fabric so that when she pooped, it just kind of landed on the washable pee pad, but she was figuring out a way to flip herself out. So that's why I just did the tape, kind of remaking that a solid piece so she sets in there nicely and then still poop goes out. So those are the important things. I also added these little metal grid things from those, there used to be those shelf units you could make out of cubes. I still had some leftover pieces. So I did that so I could hang these coop cups for her so she has easy access to food and water. I put another one on the side in case for whatever reason you want to change the orientation, but it's just kind of been helping all of that. The sling itself is made out of 3/4 inch PVC with all the corner angles. Cost about $50 for us to make it, so but it's super fast, super easy to assemble. We chose 3/4 inch PVC because it's a little bit wider and we wanted it to be super stable for her because she treats this thing like a treadmill. That one foot just keeps going and going and going, and the other foot just kind of dangles. But again, this is part of that. She's got to learn to retrust that leg. I can sit beside her and I can kind of help stretch it and remind her to put her foot down, and she will be able to eventually kind of regain trust in that leg that hasn't been super helpful for her lately. So those are all the things about a sling. And again, you can do the same thing with a piece of fabric, a box or a tote, and some binder clips. It's really just about making sure they hang the right way. And I'm gonna include a picture of kind of where her feet rest so that for your own use, should you ever find yourself with a goose that has an injury bad enough that they need this, or a chicken or a duck or whatever. I mean, it's universal for birds. So thanks for watching. All right, so I've just gotten this little girl in the sling. She is a little bit like a grease pig getting them in. So what I recommend is, what I do with her is I put her less functional foot in first, and I kind of roll her to the side and get the other foot in. And then you'll notice I kind of tuck the tail up over that fabric. She gets worked up and sometimes it goes back under the fabric, but that is how she sits. And I'm going to show you here. So see, she's actually doing much better today. So I've got her pushed further back than I usually do. So her foot is touching the ground, so she's fine. And this other foot is the one that we need to work with. So we can kind of just make sure that she's standing normally. And then I'll come in here every once in a while and be like, you can, whoops, sorry. Put a foot down, put a foot down. So now this leg still needs to be stretched regularly so that she learns. But that's how I can kind of do this stretching, is so that she learns. That foot is there to help support her. Now, a week ago, she stood, she would keep that leg kind of all the way tucked up. So this is progress. It may not look like it, but it is. So we're just going to kind of let her rest here. I don't generally leave her unsupervised because she is a little bit of an escape artist. And like I said, she managed to flip herself 2 days ago when I had that back end. But you can see that back end now kind of is up that little bit so that she can't actually flip herself over. She's pretty safe. And then she has food and water available. I gotta refill the water for her. But then she can spend the day in the sling and still be getting some therapy for those legs. All right. So the last thing I'm going to note is, because I didn't say it in this video, is the tape on the edges. This is kind of a double duty thing. So I actually did tape the edges on the fabric itself before I attached it. And I actually attached it with cable ties, little zip ties. And then I used additional tape to kind of help adjust, so I could just kind of turn the fabric a little bit and then tape it down into place so it was the right length for her. So that's kind of the easy way to make adjustments. And then obviously you've seen, and look, she's already escaping that leg out. She fully escaped that leg out. So when you put their feet back in the hole, you want to make sure to close up their little webbies and make sure to protect that dew claw as you get it back in there. I know that wasn't graceful, but there we go. Okay, so now she's back in. And she's got her 1 foot paddling, because that's what she likes to do, having her cucumber snack. So the only thing I would say is, like I said, the tape has kind of helped me make adjustments for her. Just, super simple, super easy adjustments. And then obviously wherever I do tape, if it's on the fabric, I make sure it's not something that will stick to her. So you just want to make sure to back that other tape too as well. So anyway, I hope all these tips help you with the sling. If not, feel free to message me or email me and I will give you additional tips.